Good evening. It is 7 p.m. Wednesday, March 4th, 2020. This is a public hearing of the Town of Speedway Board of Zoning Appeals. I am Mike Simonson, Chairman of the Board. Other board members in attendance this evening are Mike Allen, our Vice Chairman, Tyler Carmichael, our Secretary, Janet Fullen, and Steve Jones, members of the board. Also with us this evening is Tim Ramian, our Recording Secretary, and Kathleen Blackham, representing the Indianapolis Department of Metropolitan Development Planning Division. Have all who wish to speak been sworn in?
Yes, they have.
Thank you. Would you please mute or turn off any cell phones at this time? Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Rules for those who wish to speak at this evening's hearing. The petitioner, remonstrator, or proponent will each have a 15-minute time period to present their evidence. We will then hear a report from Ms. Blackham. After her report, there will be a 5-minute rebuttal period. So, our first order of business is to approve the minutes from our previous meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review them, and are there any corrections?
No.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Good with them? Seeing none, they'll stand as published. Next order of business is to set the board positions for this year, since this is the first hearing that we've conducted this year. So,
I would make a motion to keep the positions as stands.
we have a motion to keep the positions as they currently are.
I'll second that motion.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote on that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Tonight we have two variances. We're going to do them a little out of order due to a problem with the second one. Petition 2020 DVS 002, 1630, 1652, and 1900 Georgetown Road, also known as Indianapolis Motor Speedway parking lots. There was an issue with their mailed notification to the adjacent property owners. Therefore, we are unable to hear their petition this evening, and we're working to reschedule it for a future date yet this month. And we will notify the petitioner when we have that date locked in. So, the next petition we have is 2020 DVS 001, 5503 West 16th Street, the Rella residence. Would the petitioner or their representative step to the podium and state your name and address for the record?
My name's John Reller, and I reside at 5503 West 16th Street, Speedway, Indiana, requesting a variance from the setback standard. There's a requirement of a 10-foot setback. What we're doing is we're building an extension to our garage, and it'll be just a roof structure to cover the patio. And we'd like to set the posts that this structure will be supported with 6 feet from the property line. And so we're asking for a variance from the 10 feet to the 6 feet. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
What is the side yard to the west for your garage to the neighboring property? What's the distance?
I believe it's 6 feet, and I think it's shown on the drawing. And Catherine might correct me, but I think the code is a total of 16, a minimum of 6. And I believe we have 6 on that side, which requires 10 feet on the side that we'd like to put the gazebo, the roof, and that's the reason for the variance request.
Now, is the patio already poured? Is it already existing?
Yes, it is.
Is any other part of the construction or gazebo area in place yet, or?
No, we've hired a contractor. He went down to pull permits. Actually, they sent him a notice that the permits were ready to be pulled, and he went down and they notified him that it was a mistake and that they couldn't grant them. And so not only did he spend Martin Luther King Day going down to get permits and they were closed, but he went down the following day to find out that he couldn't get them, and that necessitated this variance request.
So is the fireplace there, or?
The fireplace is constructed, and what I was advised was it did not require a permit, but it is well within all of the setback requirements.
Because of the dimension of the fireplace also, you're needing to take the roof out?
The fireplace has
Further up.
nothing to, well, the only thing that the fireplace has to do with the roof is it sits next to the patio, but the roof structure was contemplated and was on our original plans. We just had them removed because the contractor that did the remodel on our house was not contracted to do that work. And that's the reason that we're having to go through this a second time.
What's the total width of the roof covering?
I believe it's 10 by 20.
So 10 feet wide and 20 feet front to back?
Right. And when we had it designed by the architect, we didn't realize that we had this requirement. And as you can imagine, at 10 foot, if we were only going to build it 6 feet wide, it wouldn't be worth doing. And now we've gone to the expense, and I've even paid the contractor a down payment.
Looking at the drawing with the fireplace on there, you really can't shorten the roof back to within the required setback of 10 feet. I'm not even sure if your fireplace is within the setback.
How wide is the patio itself from the wall of the garage?
I believe it's 10 by 26, something like that. Running north to south, it
Right.
is bigger. But then, again, my understanding is the patio has no setback. You can, my understanding is you can set a driveway, a patio to the
Right.
property line. But I'm not anywhere near the property line.
But if your patio is 10 feet and your roof overhangs, that means your roof line will be more than 10 feet, correct?
If my patio is 10 feet in
Right, you just
you're
said,
asking about the leading edge of the roof?
yes.
Correct. And that we went over last time we were together, and it's on the ground structure, not the overhead structure,
Oh, I
as it was
see.
explained to me last time.
So you're wanting to set the post 6 feet from the property line?
That's correct.
But right now, according to this drawing, your chimney's only 8'3" from the property line, which isn't even within it's encroaching on that setback.
I'm not prepared to represent And I didn't realize that the chimney and the fireplace would in any fashion be part of this discussion, and I'm not prepared, and we could go measure it, I'm not prepared to represent that it's accurately within, I don't know, what, 24 inches or whatever. I just hadn't looked at that, so I don't know the answer to that question.
This is your drawing that you've provided to us that shows
And that
one-inch
drawing-
measurement
that-
from the post to the chimney. That's all I'm basing my information on. That's from the outside face of the post to the chimney. It's 2 foot 3 inches.
This is not, I'm not prepared to represent that that's where it is. And I don't think that's what we're discussing today. So if I need to be able to state to you the location of that fireplace, I wasn't aware of that.
I'm just,
Yeah,
I just have the information in front of me, and I'm just indicating that, based on the information provided to us, that even before you were proposing this roof system, you were encroaching on that setback. You were already
I don't know
over
if
the,
you can make that determination.
well, if you want to be 6 foot to here from your property line, correct? That's what you're requesting. And based on this side yard being 6 feet, the aggregate setback for the property would be 16 feet, so we would have to be 10 feet over here to be within the ordinance. So unless this is drawn completely wrong, we have a plus or minus 2 foot error to find this corner to even be within the setbacks. It's not a significant issue if we grant the setback at 6 feet. I'm just pointing out that there was already an error in place with this fireplace being constructed.
I
with the
follow
setback.
your reasoning, I hadn't measured it, so I don't want to represent incorrectly.
Whoever drew this drawing put these dimensions on for some reason.
Did you used to have
Unfortunately,
was there an old,
the guy who built the fireplace did a number of things that were not the way we planned them. None of them, to my knowledge, have it moving into that area. I believe it is within the setbacks because we marked it. I did not compare this, so you're catching me off guard, and I don't know the answer to your question, and I don't want to misrepresent it.
Okay, well, any other questions for the,
well, apparently, it looks like the drawing that you were looking at and the drawing on the back side have two different sets of dimensions. This one's got the fireplace not being as wide.
not a 4 foot 10?
Was there originally a slab that was removed that's showing on this print, and then you re-poured the patio?
No, and that drawing was done unrelated to the patio being poured.
Which drawing?
Well,
Which drawing?
this one, it shows the fireplace being 5'6" wide.
It was my understanding that the
Might
only
be
thing
the-
that I was needing to come in was to get the location of the posts for and so the patio, I think it's safe for me to represent to you that the patio is not exactly like it's drawn there.
That's a little confusing to us because the documents you provide to us are supposed to be the accurate representation of what is there or what you're wanting to do.
And what I'm wanting to do is receive a variance for the post that I understand I'm in permitting for, and none of this other subject is part of it. So
If you're telling me right now you can't verify that these drawings are accurate.
I can verify to you that the part of the construction that we're proposing to do and the improvements that have been permitted have been constructed as they were permitted. If I poured concrete patio, and I'm not certain how this patio lays, the patio, okay, the distance here, the fireplace is actually that way a little bit further. The patio going this way is 13 feet approximately, and I believe that that's what it is 13 feet in that direction. Coming out this way, I honestly can't tell you what this dimension is. I may have it in my file if you want me to research it, because I've
Well, but the point of my comment is that the instructions in the filing packet indicate that a submission of drawings of what the project accurately will be is what is supposed to be provided to the board.
I apologize for that. I've
For our
tried to-
review and interpretation, or our ability to understand what it is you're trying to do. And our approval is based on the drawings you submit. And they are entered into the record as the drawings that are allowed to be used for permitting.
So you would have preferred that I left the fireplace off because that's not part of our discussion? Is that what I'm getting?
No, because that is part of what is here. What we need to have is an accurate depiction of what is going on with this site, not, well, this is kind of what's there, and this is, you're telling us what you want to do, but you're telling me that you can't verify that this drawing is accurate now.
The part of the architectural drawings that I'm seeking a permit for, I'm prepared to say are correct. You asked me if this fireplace was located right there. I have not field verified. I cannot answer that question.
Then this drawing is not valid.
We don't know that to be correct. It very well could be valid. I'm not prepared, standing here in front of you, to answer that question.
Well, then it may be wise for us to continue your variance to next month to validate that, because you're telling me that this drawing isn't necessarily correct, and you can't tell me whether it's good or bad. And we're supposed to make our decisions based on the information you've provided to us.
I know I've got field measurements that I've done. Let me see if I have them with me. We're extremely close, Mike, and I don't know how many feet or inches is accurate. All I said was that I am not in the position to state without any you have to do what you have to do. I'll appeal to you as much as I can. I've been working on this since October, and I want to get it built. It seems to me to be a very simple structure, and all I'm asking for is those two posts to be 6 feet, not 10 feet off the property line.
And I understand that, but the challenge I have right now is that what we approve as a legal standing on this project, and if we don't know if this drawing is accurate or not, then we aren't doing our job in making sure that we're giving the right answer to the right project.
I will try my best, be very specific on your questions. I think we can get through this.
We can't get past the fact that the drawings may not be accurate or may not be correct as submitted.
They're correct as submitted. All right. You asked me the question, is the fireplace in this position? And I responded with, I haven't measured it. I can't assure you that it is. If you want to continue it and have me get a surveyor out there, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I want to get this built.
And I respect that. And The challenge is that you didn't do the due diligence prior to submitting this to verify the accuracy
I
of
don't
the
know
drawing.
what I could do that I didn't do. I asked to meet on the property before I filed it to see if it was necessary to file. I've tried extremely hard. I'm back to whatever you want me to do. Let's just move forward. I want to get this, if I need to withdraw, we won't build it. I'm at your mercy.
That's not what I'm asking for, or what my intent is. I have a legal responsibility to make sure that what I'm reviewing and what I'm approving is actually the accurate information for the project. That's where I'm
All
at.
of the issues that are shown that pertain to this hearing are accurate. I will attest to that. Factors that aren't on there, like the exact location of the fireplace, I don't believe that's a subject that is part of this hearing. I don't have a privacy fence on that drawing. There's a privacy fence there. There's other things. I did the best I could. You're going to have to make a decision.
Any other questions for the petitioner? Thank you. Is there anyone who wishes to speak for or against this petition at this time? Seeing none, we'll now hear a report from Ms. Blackham.
Kathleen Blackham with the Department of Metropolitan Development, 200 East Washington Street. Staff is recommending approval of this request, but it's subject to substantial compliance with the site plan, and that's where there's probably, well, not probably, there is an issue. Staff would note that there's a hand-drawn, and I believe you have that one. That's what staff reviewed, was the hand-drawn one, but there's no scale on that, and therefore you can't really verify those measurements. Yes, it does indicate that there's 6 feet, a 6-foot side setback both on the east and the west, but as far as verifying that the accuracy of this hand-drawn site plan, you can't do that just because there's no scale on here. But assuming that it is correct and that there actually would be 6 feet on either side, the staff believes that that would have minimal impact on the neighbor to the, I have to stop and get my direction, to the east.
The east.
Yeah. And then, of course, in the rear, you've got an easement where there would be a buffer there. But again, the fact that the drawings are not accurate does present an issue. Do you have any questions?
Yes, Kathleen, do you have page 9 and 10 in this packet?
Uh-huh, yes.
Okay,
Those are the ones that I'm referring to,
okay.
that there's no scale on there.
Well, it says 1 inch equals 10 foot, but I'm sure these have been reduced.
Right.
So, what I'm asking you is that if you add all these measurements up, it equals 50 feet,
Yes.
correct? Okay. So, when you reviewed this, did you guys take your stuff and measure or down at the permit division for the ILP, or do you know?
I don't know, because that's done
Okay.
by the Department of Business and Neighborhood Services.
Right, I didn't know if you also did that. I know they do,
Right.
but I didn't know if you did.
Well,
So that was-
because it wasn't to scale, I couldn't measure it.
Right, but,
But assuming when, like you say, when you add up what they are showing here, the 6 feet, that was the 24 and then the 10 and then the 6.
28,
Yeah,
6, and 10 is 50.
right.
So I know that the ILP, they will pull your stuff up and they will add it themselves.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know if you had that capability at your facility like they do when you go to get an ILP permit.
If we do, I'm not aware of it.
Okay. Well, I imagine that happens. When you go down there to get the ILP, then they make sure.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you did that or not. Okay,
What we look at as are the documents that they provide to us.
right. I follow you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So there's no verification from your end as to whether or not the existing side yard setbacks are as drawn or as
No, because there isn't, again, because it's hand-drawn.
hand-drawn?
And you can't verify that with the scale, and whether that actually, if you would go out there in the field and measure it, whether that is accurate, I don't know.
And the 6 foot would be the measurement from the physical structure, not the overhang or gutter.
That's right, but under our ordinance, you can encroach into that, and I think it's an additional 18 inches when you've got those roof overhangs. So that, from our standpoint, that would not be an issue.
Do we have a drawing to scale? I guess because the scale is on the hand-drawn one, and I'm asking if there's one on the,
There's no, we
Architectural.
don't have a site plan
Oh.
that's actually drawn to
You
scale.
have a ruler, I believe you'll find that it's 5 inches wide, 1 inch equals 10 feet, that's 50 inches. It is to scale. That's the way it was drawn.
on the hand-drawn?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that this copy is not 1 inch to 50, or 1 inch per 10.
Right.
That is not.
This is
I
the
don't
one
need a
he's
ruler for that.
probably referencing.
No,
Oh, now, if you're talking about this, that's possible.
The squares are probably 1/4 inch squares.
would you like a tape measure?
13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
You would need a scale. Do you have a scale?
20. So those squares aren't quarter?
Those are
No. But that's fine. If you have one, that's fine. Okay, this hand drawing one is to scale. Now, I guess the only issue is about the fireplace, where it's exactly at.
Yep.
And I don't believe it's shown on that hand-drawn one,
It's not shown on the site plan, it's on the
architectural drawings.
architectural drawing of showing the garage and the new roof line and
Right.
Can you answer a question on this drawing for me?
I'll do the best I can.
Okay, maybe you can. Let's see.
Wait, does he need to see this?
Yeah,
Well, here, he can use this one.
okay. Your scale from here to here is, okay, what is this? Right here, where there's 2 lines.
Well, you got the scale, but I'm assuming by the drawing that from here to here is 6 feet.
Okay, but I understand that, but you've got 2 lines here, so which is which here? Okay, ½ inch should be 5 feet.
Are you saying that this is one line and this is another?
Yeah.
I think that's intended to be one line.
Okay. But you understand what I'm talking about, because it's 2 lines. So I'm
Okay,
trying to figure out what you're trying to do.
this one
This is 9 feet wide, that was 10 feet wide.
is the 6-foot line.
Okay,
This one, which is on it, is the gazebo, which happens to be on the same line.
It's 9, this.
Because one is measured this way, which is 6 feet, the other's measured this way, which is 10 feet.
Okay.
And like you pointed out, it adds up to 50, so it's exactly the
These are
same
from the
point.
original one. from
Okay, well
2000.
then, I guess, in my opinion, it should have been drawn that way, not two lines, but
Presented off
I'm
of
just
this.
asking.
You know what I mean?
It's the same
And there's that for you.
that Steve has.
And thank you very much.
Did you want to see this again, Brian?
Yeah.
So that scale's there, but
Right.
there's no,
No, those are 19. Just, no, those are recent.
3, 4'6". It's up. Six, 8. That's only 9 feet.
In other words, I would ask for my money back.
So, doing the math on the gazebo floor plan print that you've submitted, the dimension you're showing to the post from the garage is 10 feet, but the combined dimension of the distance from the garage to the fireplace, the width of the fireplace, and then over to the post only adds up to 9 feet.
The fireplace clearly was not built to that drawing, so. I'm encouraging to not focus on the dimensions of the fireplace,
But-
because that's not, the fireplace is smaller in the east-west dimension and larger in the north-south dimension, but it's further north than what that shows.
So I guess the other question I have is, it's shown on here as part of the new construction or the construction area, yet you're telling us it's already there.
I tried to use a drawing that an architect prepared for me, and I made a mistake. I should have delivered you a drawing that did not show the fireplace, I believe, because the fireplace is not part of the subject, or had it redrawn with a survey.
I guess the part of the point of my questioning or my concern is, when the fireplace was constructed, it was constructed in violation also of the setback. It
I
was
don't
encroaching
believe
into
that's
the.
correct.
If it's not more than 10 feet from the property line, which by rough guess on how it's drawn here, it's nowhere close to 10 feet from the property line. We're plus or minus 4 feet. That's the width of the fireplace to get to the 10-foot setback. So unless the fireplace is considerably smaller and actually attached to the garage, then it's probably was already encroaching within that setback that you're now requesting.
That may very well be true. I'm not able to confirm or deny that.
Was the fireplace there when you purchased the property?
No. But the fireplace was there before I filed for the permits to build this.
Were any permits necessary to build the fireplace?
No, sir. But I believe if we go out there and measure it, that fireplace is within the setbacks. That was our direction, that was our intent, and you're bringing up subjects that are making me wonder. And I believe if the house is off the property line, I'm not sure now that you say it, because it's such an odd ordinance. 10 feet, 6 feet, I got a variance on that, so.
You got a variance for the west yard, correct? or the 2-foot setback
For the carport.
for the carport. But based on the hand-drawn site plan, I would guess your east side of your house is at a 6-foot setback.
And that is probably correct.
So
And it was our understanding that that was the setback until, and again, until we were called by the city.
the aggregate setback for the structure would have been fine with the driveway side being in excess of 10 feet. And we granted you a variance for the carport to have a 2-foot setback because it was a carport and an open-air structure and not too impactful onto the neighboring residents. Any other questions? You have anything you need to add, Kathleen? No. Okay. I guess we'll entertain a motion to vote on the,
Make a motion.
vote on the
I'll second that motion.
petition 2020 DVS 001. Motion and seconded.
For 6 foot, right.
Yeah, this is the 6-foot setback, is that what we're voting on?
Yes, that
Yeah.
was the request, was for a 6-foot side yard setback for the gazebo.
Petition 2020 DVS 00001 is approved with a vote of 4-1.
Welcome. Is there any other business to come before our board this evening? Seeing none, we are adjourned at 7:37.